Hey everyone, it's Trevor Barroero, Black Swamp artist and principal percussionist of the Tucson Symphony Orchestra. In this video, we're going to look at the fundamentals of playing on a castanet machine using Black Swamp's overture model. This video is geared towards band directors and developing percussionists who want a dependable setup and clear technique for castanets in the concert setting. The Overture series is a line of entry-level instruments designed by concert percussionists with a sound specifically intended for band and orchestral performance. The Overture castanet machine gives you a simple, reliable way to get authentic castanet sound in a band or orchestra without needing to master traditional handled castanets first. So today we'll cover how to set it up, how to get a clear sound with both hands, how to deal with the tension and articulation of the machine, and I'll give you some exercises as well as play through a famous orchestral excerpt to show you what this is all about. Now, the Overture castanet machine by Black Swamp Percussion is made of fiber castanet cups mounted to a solid frame. And the best part is it features an elastic-free system. So that means you can adjust the tension easily without having the same wear and tear as an elastic system might have. The base is also threaded, so you can mount it on a cymbal stand or any other threaded stand. This is incredibly helpful if you have quick changes in a multi-percussion setup or if you're in a traditional theater pit setup as well. Now, obviously, the machine castanets are very different from handled castanets that you would normally play on your leg or your knee. The machine, though, is designed to be played just like any other percussion instrument, just like a drum or a mallet percussion instrument. So I think it's a great stepping stone for students to get their first experience playing castanets. Now, just like wood blocks, the castanet machine obviously needs a solid, stable surface. My first choice is always going to be a sturdy trap table, but technically you can mount it on a very solid music stand as long as you have a thick black towel underneath it to prevent rattles. But still, I think a trap table is always a better option than a music stand, just in case it's not completely tight and next thing you know, your castanets are on the ground. But with this particular model, honestly, I love it on the cymbal stand. It eliminates the point of contact on the bass, and I feel like it resonates just a lot more, and you can get it exactly to the height and angle that you need, especially when you're dealing with it in a multi-percussion setup. Now, regardless of where it lives in your setup, you want to think of this as a small drum. So you want it to be close enough that you can have your hands move naturally and your wrists can stay relaxed. Technique-wise, the castanet machine is very similar to playing any other drum. I think of it a lot like bongo technique. So I use a wrist-driven technique where my index fingers are striking the top cup of the castanet. That gives me a clear articulated contact point. Now, for softer notes on machine castanets, I like to make a little beak with my hand, similar to how I would strike a tambourine, and I will just play on the very edge of the castanets to move them as slowly as possible to minimize the velocity and therefore make the dynamic quite a bit softer. Now, for extremely loud playing on machine castanets, rather than just using my index fingers, I may use 2, 3, or all 4 fingers together, and I really think about lifting off the castanets to get them to move as quickly as possible and to get the most motion as possible. You can play on just one castanet or on both of them together for a slightly fuller and more orchestral sound. I often will strike them together or even flam them just a little bit so that the two pitches blend into one rich sound. You see, castanets are slightly different pitches usually, so if you alternate strictly right, left, you're going to get this weird lopsided effect. That can be interesting in certain solo contexts, but in an orchestra, I usually prefer to stay on one castanet for repeated rhythms, or I'll use both together as a double stop or a flam so the sound is more unified. The tension adjustment on any pair of castanets is a huge part of how the instrument responds and feels. The more open the castanets are, the more velocity you need to get them to strike together, but the sound will be more articulate and dry as a result. The looser the tension, the more easily they'll respond, which can be super useful for soft dynamics, but especially if you want kind of a sloppy, sustained roll sound. For most band and orchestral playing, I like a medium tension. It's responsive enough for younger students that can get the sound easily, but it's tight enough that the strokes are still crisp. Rolls are trickier to achieve on machine castanets compared to handled castanets, because with handled castanets, we can add pressure on both cups to create this sound. But to achieve a roll on machine castanets, we're limited by the speed of our hands, just like on a mallet, percussion instrument, or timpani. So let's explore some basic strokes. Start with simple single strokes on just one castanet. Now let's play both castanets together as double stops. This is a fantastic sound for individual notes that need more presence in the orchestra. All right, now we can add flams. So one castanet is going to hit slightly before the other. This will thicken the sound and give you a little more depth without making it louder. It's just a great effect. Now, every once in a while, you may need to move from one instrument directly into the castanets, so you may have to strike them with a soft mallet. If you're moving from a suspended cymbal directly to the castanet, it's totally valid. Just make sure you're using a mallet that won't damage the cup. So anything soft is totally going to be fine. Castanets show up in a ton of colorful orchestral repertoire, especially with Spanish or dance influences. One of my all-time favorites is the chocolate dance number from Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker Ballet. I like to add flams or double stops to the downbeats to fill out the sound a little bit more. You'll see what I mean. And that's it. That's our overview of playing the castanet machine with the Black Swamp Overture model. With a solid setup, thoughtful tension adjustment, and a few focused exercises, you can get a really convincing castanet sound from a convenient and affordable castanet machine. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to check out the other videos of this Overture series for tambourine, woodblocks, triangles, and more.